Hello, 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 and welcome to this month's amazing lineup on the Her Version Impact, expanding rapidly with over 300 YouTube videos, 60 female guest speakers, and over 40 impact panel guests. We are now on 6 different podcast platforms, including Spotify, iTunes, and SoundCloud. I am thrilled to have a female panel filled this month as we talk about emotional and mental health. The conversation around this topic will be broad and will guarantee to educate you on so many areas of your life. Join us as we dive deep into our personal journeys to improving our mental and emotional health and the challenges along the way. Her Version is a contemporary global stage, a platform created for bold storytelling, providing stories, tools, and advice on how to break free from life struggles and design your own vibrant life. For those of you that don't know me, I am your host, Sabrina Victoria. If you are new to this podcast, make sure you follow, like, subscribe, and share. Let's jump right in. So, emotional and mental, what is it and why are so many people talking about it? We are past the days when physical health was the main topic, everyone chasing the latest diet. Today, emotional and mental health have become an important part of our health. People who are emotionally healthy are in control of their thoughts, their feelings, and their behaviors. They are able to cope with everyday life challenges and struggles. They are able to keep their problems in perspective and bounce back from setbacks without falling into a deep hole of depression and anxiety. For those of you listening live, we appreciate you being here and supporting us. We can all use some perspective in this area, so I encourage you to share this podcast right now and comment Share Squad. I will be choosing a random winner to receive some awesome giveaways. Also, this is an interactive forum, so feel free to comment or ask questions, and our ladies will be more than happy to give advice. So welcome. How is everyone today?
We're doing good.
Great.
Awesome. I love that. Well, listen, we have so many ladies, more than willing to touch on this topic. So I kind of want to just jump in right away. The first lady that I have taking the platform today is going to be Tina Kaddish. Tina is going to be hosting for 10 minutes. She is going to explain a little bit about herself, ask an awesome question to our panel so that they can answer and really dive deep into that topic. And then we will move on from there, lady over lady over lady. So thank you so much for everyone being here. And I will hand the mic over to Tina.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. I am Tina Kaddish, and I am in Connecticut here, tuning in to all of you lovely guests and other panel members. So I'm a life purpose and business coach, and my journey has been and an author. And my journey was many years ago, I got laid off from corporate world. So I help people find their purpose, their direction in life. And myself, I got laid off. I was a single mom with 2 kids. And for the first time, I found myself not knowing what to do. I don't know if any of you have experienced that. You're in a situation that the rug was taken from under you, actually. And there was a lot of fear. There was a lot of frustration. And I just had no direction. And so when you think about that, your mindset is truly, truly affected. And you start to question yourself, like, what am I going to do? Will I be able to find something good, something that I want to do? And so I really believe that we all need to find our passion, our purpose, and living every day in our greatness. But there's things that hold us back. So I want to ask one of the questions I want to ask is, what do you think impacts us from being successful in our life today? What is really holding us back? Because I know what's held me back, and I could share that, but I would love to ask everyone, what is something that has held you back in your life? Go, Jen.
So I'm smiling because I feel like you and I coach around a very similar topic, and success for me is a big one. I actually have a success formula that I like to work off of, and it's awareness plus mindset plus strategy equals success. But what people find, the way we were taught to do math linearly, I don't know if that's a word, but people think awareness is the first step. But really, when you think about like success and what's holding us back from success, my opinion is that we don't have a clear understanding of what success means to us. And until we get really clear in what success is and who we are, we can't actually start to make progress towards those goals. Your story really resonated with me deeply because I was like, I lost who I was because I was following somebody else's definition of success. And I forgot who I was and what I was good at. And I was in a very dark place. And it wasn't until I took that step back to be like, what do I want?
Exactly.
So I think your question is, what holds us back is not knowing what it means to us personally within.
You know, you mentioned a key word, and then we'll have, clarity, because that's something that is so important. Do we have that clarity to know what direction we want to go in? I myself was one of them, but let's Nicole, I think Lisa, you had your hand up as well.
Yeah, just to, tap onto what Jen was talking about. Aside from that, it's our beliefs about ourselves and our place in the world. We're all seeing reality through a keyhole. We've got this filter of beliefs that we've accumulated throughout our lives, that it's about expanding that perception filter to see who we are authentically at our core in the world, because we're all living under misconceptions around that.
Beliefs, like my beliefs always was around money. I grew up with the scarcity mindset that there was never going to be money. It was just not enough money. There was only the rich get richer. Money's the root of all evil. But what I learned is that the love of money is the root of all evil. We are all entitled to abundance, right? There's plenty of money out there. But what holds us back is right here, is it begins with our mindset, and our thoughts and our actions lead it into results. So sometimes we look back and we say, okay, why am I where I am? Well, go back to your thoughts and how you believe in yourself. Are you confident in yourself that you can achieve success? But having that clarity, having your beliefs, I always, think about that. But I'd like to, I think Nicole, you had your hand up. I'd love to hear from Nicole.
Thanks, Tina. And I love your question. And kind of to piggyback off of what others have said here, I think that depending on how you grew up and what your belief system was and how you were treated by those around you as well, if you're lacking confidence, then you're also going to be maybe falling into people pleasing and really overly worried about what other people think about the moves that you're making. And so that's kind of how I help to coach as well. I teach people to live their fuck yes, because I don't give a fuck. And you shouldn't either about what other people are thinking about how you're moving through your life, because you have a specific gift and you have something that you are here to offer. And if you allow the perceptions and opinions of everyone else to be guiding the choices that you're making and how you define success for yourself, then that is going to start to affect your mental and emotional well-being as well. So I think all of these things kind of play in together with the mindset, the confidence. In order to have that, you have to have your balance there and your mental, emotional well-being, and set those clear boundaries with the outside people around you as well.
That is so, I love that. I love your authenticity. Fuck yes. I love it. I love it too, because you know what? I grew up with also people pleasing, and many of you, resonate with this. People pleasing. Oh, I want to be liked. I used to want to be liked by people. Well, you know what? I think aging plays a big part in all your experiences. I don't care if you do or don't. It's staying true to yourself. What are your values? Okay. For me, one of my main values is integrity. And if I'm not going to align myself with other people that are not aligned with my values. And it's okay to separate yourself from people, even if it's family. I have separated myself from family, because think about family can really affect your mental and emotional health, right? You're hanging out with toxic people, toxic family members, and they affect you. I've had to let go of some toxic family members because they're bringing you down. Instead of raising you up and supporting you, they're just maybe envious or just pulling you down. Okay. And so in the past, I wouldn't want to raise up because I would always think about them. Well, how would they view me? Will they like me? So, you know, really it's so critical. Somebody else had their hand up. Thank you, Charlotte. Go ahead.
Christine, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Christine, sorry,
So
your name popped out.
I agree with everything that everyone has said. And I coach on this as well. And a big piece for me is, in addition to like looking at your belief, well, it's part of looking at your beliefs is, I think you need to start out accepting exactly where you are. Because I think what happens is we find ourselves in this place of darkness or this place of struggle. And so we go into shame. Like, oh my God, there's something wrong with me. I should be further along. I'm looking at everyone else and everyone has their act together. There's something wrong with me. I'm not worthy. And so I think that a big piece of the thing that I start with my clients is radical acceptance. Like, let's just accept this is where you are. You don't, and people are like, I don't want to accept it. This isn't where I want to be. Accepting it just means acknowledging that this is the problem in front of me. This is what I have to deal with. Because I think so often we spend so much time in resistance to whatever it is that we're dealing with, resistance to ourselves for being there, resistance to the situation. And when we can accept it, and sort of make peace with this is where I am in this moment, then it frees us up to start to get clarity around where do I want to go and what are my next steps going to be.
That's a great point, Christine, and lead me to think. In my book, I talk about freedom, and one of the steps is release, and is letting go of the outcome. We cannot control situations. Right. I've tried. I'm a control freak. I want to control the situation. Everything's got to work out perfectly. Doesn't work. Okay. And so our experiences in life will teach us a lot of times. We just can't control it. We just have to accept where we are. One of the things, what do you think are some other challenges that people have? Because I have to say, one thing for me has been comparison. And I don't know if you can relate to this. Have you been in a situation where you've compared yourself? Because Christine, you made a point of we're looking at other people. I was in a corporate career until 2018. I was doing my business part-time, working full-time, and I was comparing other people's success and why I didn't leave my corporate career.
I love that. I love that.
Fear.
Hey, Tina,
yes.
your 10 minutes is up, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow Susan to answer that question because she's up for her next hosting. So I'm going to hand the mic over to Susan. And then if Susan, if you can touch a little bit on comparison and then flow into your question, that'd be great.
That was quick.
I know it is quick.
I love it.
Susan. Hi. Yeah, I'm Susan Comer, and thank you for this opportunity. And I love the first question, Tina, and I agree with everybody. The other previous comments about success and our beliefs are what makes or what forms our belief in what success is and what success means to us. And part of the to answer Tina's question then about comparison, that is a big thing that holds us back, because I find that when you're looking at, and my experience with comparison is that you're looking at where you want to be. So you are, I love the radical acceptance of where you are. I love when you said that. I think Christine said that. That's fabulous, because you need to establish where are you and where do you want to go? And it's very likely you're going to look around at others who have what you have. And how did they get there so fast? Or how did they get there quicker than you? How did they reach that? And why aren't I? It starts coming down to your net worth, or your worth as a person. Net worth is another question that we could ask. On this, I love this conversation, and I would love to continue it because I did have a question that was prepared, but I love this conversation that we're having. So I'd love to continue it on maybe the area of how we do move forward and then we self-sabotage, because I've done a lot of work with what you say when you say to yourself. And I do work with empowering women. I work with transforming lives through empowering and protecting women. And part of what I do is talk about what do you say when you talk to yourself, and how do we self-sabotage. So I just wanted to open that discussion on, we get to, things are starting to go well, and then we look around maybe and say, oh wait, I'm not. We stop ourselves, and I think that's part of limiting ourselves. So that's my question is, have you experienced this or seen this experience where people they limit their own selves?
That's a great one.
Thank you. And Marie? Yeah, thank you.
Sometimes I think we can call this burnout, where we feel like we're doing too much. We have too much on our plate, so we want to restrict that or take some things away. Sometimes in the business, they like to say that that's a bad thing, that you're going to be like, if you take a month off, then all of a sudden you're 3 months behind or 5 months behind, like in technicality. But for me, with self-love coaching, like I really feel like that's necessary sometimes, to take that time off to, step back and reevaluate what it is that you're doing and if it's even worth doing. So absolutely, it could seem like a sabotage. I don't think it is, but most of the people in the business would say, yes, that is a sabotage. So I just wanted to touch on that. That's what came to mind when you said that.
Well, thank you for those comments, Marie. That is a part where we think we're going too fast. So it could be that where we believe that, wait, I got to slow down. I was in my first mini marathon, I did the same thing. We were running and they said how fast we were going, and I slowed myself down. I said, wait, I don't run that fast. It is going back to that mindset, which is just our beliefs, our belief system. And it's so great to be aware of it. Tina, did you want to say something?
I want to comment. It's because we're so wrapped up sometimes that we got to accomplish, we got to do this, we got to do this, we got to do this, we got to keep going. When you haven't, you need to step back sometimes and reflect. And even if you're just doing nothing, it's self-care. You have to care for yourself. And I mean, whatever you got to do, I do a lot of praying. I do a lot of meditation. Journaling is a great way to do. I love walking in nature. It's okay to step away from life sometimes and just get it into with yourself. And because we get so wrapped up every day, we got to keep going. I know for me, got to do this, got to do that. Well, how about doing nothing and just resting? Resting is a good thing. Nicole. All right. We had a lot of hands up.
That's exactly.
I love actually, Tina.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I love that Tina brought up resting, because to me, resting isn't always just like, I'm not doing anything, but resting is when we allow ourselves to integrate. So when it comes to self-sabotage, there's a lot of times we're not even noticing because we're so busy moving forward. We're so busy trying to hit the next goal. We don't bother to stop and do that integration so that we can truly be embodying that next level self, right? We have to allow ourselves to really come into that next level. Okay, I'm here. What does it feel like to be here? What does it feel like to be present in this? What has changed for me? How do I keep moving forward with this? How do I make it sustainable? Taking care of myself in the different ways at this new level of wherever I'm at. So I think that sometimes self-sabotage is such a subtle, subconscious thing that it helps us to take that time to really integrate in between. Jen,
yeah, that's so right. Yes, that I agree with that. And especially now when work and life balance, everyone's working at home. So there's no line between leaving work and being at home. And we need to scheduling in rest is okay. Or scheduling in your break is so necessary. So that is an important comment. And who else? I think it was Jen and then Lisa. Okay.
Awesome. And before I add color, there was comment. Nicole, can you just explain what you mean by integrate?
Yeah, integration really, like as I was saying, is more about feeling into where you're at. So becoming aware of what things have changed as you've come into this new level, and really giving yourself time to embody that. When I say embody, like I'm very much about, my practice is very much about feeling what's happening inside your body, which has a lot to do with your mental and emotional health, right? So recognizing, oh, wow, this feels frustrating to me, or this feels really exciting. How can you then ground your energy and bring yourself back? I love, Tina mentioned like being in nature. I like to come outside every day, get my feet in the grass. Maybe for those of you up in North America, it's getting too cold to do that, but can you ground, and can you just take some deep breaths and feel into your body and allow yourself to come into even a meditation or something where you shift any limiting beliefs that might still be left around. Ooh, we're here. Maybe, like you said, I don't run this fast. Well, yeah, you just did. So can we allow ourselves to sit with, wow, I can run this fast. And you know what? I can probably run faster, but let me feel what it feels like now to be running this fast. So really allowing
it's really
you to come
about
into
like
your body.
Yeah, I was going to say, so it's really about like the feeling and like tapping into that inner knowing is what I'm hearing you say. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is a great question, Susan. I feel like you're every time someone says, I'm like, ooh, I want to comment on that. And ooh, I want to comment on that. But I think what we were just chatting about with like the self-care, Nicole, I really liked what you said about like, sometimes it's doing something else. And I think what's could be really helpful when we think about mental and emotional health is taking time to understand what brings us joy. I think so often we forget about what actually makes us happy and the simple things. Like we tend to overcomplicate. And I think overcomplicating is a way of self-sabotage. But if we can just come back to the simplest thing and make a joy list of like, what are 100 things that bring me joy? And 100 is really important because the first 20 are easy. It's when you have to start getting to like number 70 and 75, you start to realize like, oh, it's not just a cup of tea. It's a cup of green tea, or it's a cup of peppermint. And you can get really specific, and you can realize that like, you don't have to travel across the world for joy. Like you can find joy in your house. And when you have that list, if you're starting to kind of go down a spiral or feel burnt out, you can just look at your list and be like, well, what's something that's in my power right now to fill my bucket? And how can I pull myself out by not overcomplicating? Christine.
Yeah, I wanted to, and I think that because something that I talk a lot about is gratitude and the importance of practicing gratitude to access joy. But sometimes I think if we're in a really difficult place, gratitude is almost too heavy. Like I'm so grateful for X, and so I think of it as like what makes me smile. So a good cup of coffee, or like petting my dog, just those like little moments in the day that bring a little spark of joy and allow me to get through my day a little bit more easily. I mean, gratitude is amazing, and I'm a big believer in that, but I think sometimes that almost feels out of our, like, just too big to handle. So those little moments, it's kind of like, especially if you're in crisis, okay, what can I do in this moment for just this present moment to give me just this little glimmer of light in my day, so that then I can get through whatever it is that's in front of me.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And because I do believe that gratitude is that factor that may be why one person is successful, one person isn't, because of that gratitude. And I think we're going to go back. Did you have some more? Did you want to add some more?
Yeah, no, I just saw that Charlotte had popped up a question about how do I find what I enjoy, or how do I understand what I enjoy? And I always encourage people to just sit and reflect on those little moments. Christine, kind of what you were just saying about the gratitude, but if you're really struggling, you can go back and look at what you enjoyed as a child. Because oftentimes if you could go back and think about like, well, what did I enjoy doing? And it's not like, for me, I had Barbies, but like, I didn't play house with the Barbies. I was more focused on the cars. And I was always focused on taking them on adventures. So like if you can get really into the things that brought you joy as a child and what about that, then you can kind of zoom it out and be like, well, what does that mean for me and where I am now? Another way that you can kind of understand what you enjoy is just taking that step back and practicing the pause and being like, where do I lose time? Or like, where do I lose that sense of time and space? And when you're in that flow, it's likely something that brings you happiness. So thank you for passing it back. I just wanted to acknowledge Charlotte.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for all of that insight.